Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of pYanodon's Season 3. We are live with Twitch and YouTube here, and we are testing the train braking force upgrades. So that's going to be kind of this episode. It will be a little bit different than normal. So what I've done, I've kind of pre-prepared a few things here. So I've downloaded the new version of CyberSyn, which has the analytics enabled, and you also need to download Factorio charts, a separate submod if you enable the analytics. And we have built a bunch of like gas power plant tier 2s, a bunch of the solar panels. I removed the buffers of chemical and Pi2 science, and I'm also researching science. So between all of that, my base should be a little busier for a while. And what we're going to do is we're going to track the next 10 minutes of train analytics, and then we're going to do that twice to see if the numbers are very different. If they're pretty much the same, then I'm not going to test it a third time. If they're pretty different, I'll probably test it another time. 3 is probably enough, unless the numbers are wildly different. And then what we'll do is we'll reload the save. I need a console command to pause the game. And then I'll force research the train braking force upgrades, so they're immediately done. And we'll let the base run again, and we'll compare the numbers. And it's going to be wonderful to see how train utilization changes based on braking force. So that's the goal. We're going to dive in here. I shouldn't have to do anything for the next 10 minutes. We're just chilling. Your top useless skill is you switch between QWERTY and Dvorak. That is impressive. That's like the riding the backwards bike thing that Smarter Every Day did, where you like, it doesn't make any sense for a long time until it clicks, and now your brain just does it, and there's like no extra stuff necessary. Hey, Ariafi, thank you. Thank you for the 400 hours. I'm impressed we've made it this far as well. So yeah, the analytics look like this. And we can see the data beginning to flow in. So basically, we're just going to be able to look at utilization over the 10-minute time range. Like, that's all we're going to have to do. And then we'll upgrade braking force and see what the number is. That's all that is going to have to change. And we'll compare. So this will be a very easy test to run. Because utilization is what percent, at least I assume, the maker of the mod is here. Nick, is the utilization measuring what percentage of that type of train is currently not idle? Can I confirm? Yes, okay, perfect. Oh, I had an item. Oh, you need an item filter. There's no non-item filtered. So if I wanted to look at like, oh, I want to look at moss. Moss goes everywhere. What? I haven't done a moss delivery? Unbelievable. What about stone? That stuff's flying all over the place. There's one. Whoa. No stock F. I don't know what that means. Failed. No provider had sufficient stock. Stuck 2. Oh, you know what? We're gonna have some weird data. Because we are gonna have some broken stations over the next. We're gonna see some train stuck symbols because of we were using the Dan Bopes fork with the extra, like it would add the second station in the same inventory, which of course is not going to be working because we're back into the main fork of, or the main branch of CyberSyn. So yeah, that's probably just because it's stuck waiting for stone that doesn't exist. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways we could run this test. I could speed up time. Does playtime speed up with it or not? Because if it does, I'm fine with it, because then we'll be able to still stop at the same breakpoint. Oh, it doesn't. See, that's a problem. We need a guaranteed stop at the same breakpoint, and I don't have something measuring that, so I don't think we can speed up time, because that would cause us to make a time in game, an in-game clock that actually measures game time. Oh my goodness. I mean, what else are we doing? Might as well. We've already got our to-do timer. Certainly it can't be that much different than this guy. Playtime speeds up with the ticks. Oh, okay. Well, I'm getting conflicting information. I need the truth. I have 1 versus 1. I need more opinions. I actually don't need more opinions. I need more knowledge. I need more people that actually know what they... Your opinion is useless unless you actually know what you're talking about. Well, I don't want to test it because it'll throw off this current test unless it properly works. Playtime is tick-based. Okay, so now we have 2 people voting for playtime is tick-based, which is what we want. If playtime is tick-based, I can speed up the game without messing up the test. I am inclined to agree that playtime is tick-based, based on my memory of when I was using time tools. Yeah, okay. Good. What up, Centered? Long time no see. Okay, so that means I can speed up playtime. But I don't know the command for it. I want to do console commands, not editor, because editor... I guess time continues here, though, when I go into the editor, right? So that doesn't... But if I speed up time in the editor... Does that also speed up time in the Pi base? I don't know exactly how all that works. I don't know if I want to leave the main base. I know there's a console command for it. Surely someone can... get it for me. It's like c.player. Yeah, cgame.speed. Let's just do 2. That'll go fast enough. Yep, that's definitely 2 seconds per second. Oh no, the autosaves. The blocking autosaves are gonna throw off our test. What if the autosaves don't take the same amount of time because my computer is doing some different process in the background, and it takes... I guess it pauses the playtime when it's saving, though, so it should be fine. Never mind. Never mind. Factorio is beautifully lockstep like that, so we should be fine. Okay, so we're waiting for 4:32:19:09. What's the pause command? Can I just do game speed 0 to pause the game? Nope. Pause break button on the keyboard. That's not doing it. Wait, is there just a straight up pause hotkey that I unbound? Oh. Huh. There you go. The more you know. Can I still do stuff? No, you can't click on anything or open any GUIs. I'll just change the playtime to 0.01. That'll be good enough. Because that means I have 100 seconds to mess around, and it only goes through 1 second of game time. So that should be fine. Yeah, that version of pause is more like hitting escape than it is like pausing the game. Like basically I want the game to freeze without me being locked out of anything. I want tick pause. Was that an option? Did I just like not even see it? There's pause resume music and toggle entity paused, which is a different thing. So no, I don't seem to have that type of pause. I can unbind that. I'm probably never going to use that. Search tick. Tick. Tick once in the editor. It freeze? Stop. I don't know if there's such a thing. You might have a mod that enables that. Tick once will pause the game. Now that's an interesting reality. Okay, we're getting close. We're waiting for 1909. Okay, tick once will pause the game. How do you resume the game then? Do you have to type in the console command to set the speed back to 1? Because there's no resume game. But that's in the editor, not in the game. That's not a game command. Oh, yeah. I mean, we could just straight up pause the game in the editor already. We don't need to tick once in the editor. Anyway, oh gosh, we're already going up on it, and we are there. All right. So we are now at 0.01. Uh-oh. We have to wait many ticks for things to happen. So 0.01 means we're doing a little less than 1 tick a second. How many ticks does it take for this chart to update, Nick? we can analyze your code pretty intensely at this speed. It's taken a while. That's really funny. Just put on blast. Sorry, man. Actually, though, should I, like, is this gonna take, like, 60 ticks to show up, or? What are we talking here? The editor does have tick X times. That's a good point. Oh, there it is. Okay. That was probably what, like 20 ticks? Okay, so we're at 67.1 for fluid. That's so useful. Just that alone right there is telling me, like, I'm gonna need to add fluid trains before I add solid trains. And 59.5 solid. That's so cool. All right, I'll take a picture of this graph. And now we load the game. Hitting the escape key is tick bound. Wow, even the UI options in the escape menu are game speed bound. That is interesting. I wouldn't have banked on that, because the game is frozen. That's super interesting. Also, it says 6 minutes ago because that's real life time. Wait, no, that's an autosave. Sorry. "14 minutes ago. I guess we slowed down time. Yeah, using the tick X times maybe would have been smarter for this. Let me think. Let's load into this. Immediately slow the game down. Go to the editor. Go to the time. Play for limited time. 10 minutes would be 36,000. Then do that. And then we go a little faster. Okay. Why does it say paused on it? It's not paused. And then I should be able to just look at Novice surface. And we can see how this builds up. It's not paused though. You can see stuff running. So it's just weird that it says paused. It's like actually playing, but it says paused. So that's very confusing. Also, Nick, is it normal for the graphs to have like a weird jumble up here in the front, or is something broken here? I seem to have broken something. And it like doesn't even reset when I like change. It's probably based on my modification of game speed. Welcome to paused ticks. Huh. So the game was paused, but it wasn't paused? Love it. That's weird. All right, so we're waiting for... Well, it should stop on its own, right? Hitting pause and play there, did that screw up my tick custom? I hope not. If it did, we're screwed. I mean, I can still slow it down like I did last time. Okay, so last time we had 67 on fluid and 59.5 on solids. Yeah, my goal is just to leave this up so it'll pause right when it's over, but we'll already have the UI measurements. Part of the problem is this is pretty bouncy. Bouncy's a weird word to use, but it's like, you know, large changes in the utilization based on like one train leaving or exiting this graph. So it could be good to run this test like 3 times just to make sure it's all in the same ballpark. All right, I'm just gonna trust that it stops. If it doesn't, we might be screwed. I guess maybe I should get ready for that option. It should stop at like 1910. No, it didn't. Interesting. Oh, it actually does go to paused by default, even when you do that. What the heck? So tick custom needs, so I did break it when I did that. Weird. Very weird stuff we're dealing with here. All right, so hold on. Load game. Change speed, save again. Just so that we've already got the speed part fixed. That was so weird, it saved, but it saved the game like computer program wise before the next tick was rendered. So it just skipped showing me the save bar completely. That's so funny. Okay, so now we can go to editor and then we go to time tools. And now pause, but speed up the game. Oh, it's so weird. So the game's still paused, but it's not paused. And then this is 36,000 ticks. That's the right number, right? For 10 minutes? Does anybody... Yes, no? 60 ticks a second, 3,600 ticks is a minute. 36,000 ticks, 10 minutes. Yeah, that's right. All right. So from here, we are ready to go. So why don't I save this? And then now we can just hit this button. And all we got to do is wait and watch this bad boy. And it should stop at some point. Also, this is not 10 minutes. Uh-oh. We haven't had 10 minutes of game time elapse. Uh-oh. Oh, 10 minutes from when no, sorry, we have. Because I went for a couple minutes of setting stuff up. So we should be good. What's up there, Onigbum? Onigbum? I don't know how to pronounce that. Welcome. All right. So now that we've got this set up, I might just do whole new tests. Because we should be able to get that going. We'll see what the numbers are. We are testing the effect of train braking force upgrades on train utilization across the base. So the question is, how much does it actually help? My theory is not very much, but we'll see. And it blew past our 36,000 ticks again. I'm very confused. Does anyone know why it's not stopping? Did I not hit tick custom? Am I going crazy here? 90% sure I hit tick custom. That works fine. Why didn't it work fine with 36,000? What the heck? Did you just see that playtime jump? Did you guys see that? What the heck? Okay, no, something weird is going on here with the editor. It's not actually pausing playtime. Like right now, playtime is not moving. But as soon as I do one tick... Okay, one tick isn't doing it. But as soon as I hit play, the playtime jumps, even though we were paused. So I can't use pause. Ah! I feel like people keep telling me different things. So I can't actually pause with editor because that's gonna break the measurement of playtime. I don't need the mod to update when paused. Because again, I can leave this up while it's running, and then wherever it's sitting when the game pauses is fine. The problem is the playtime measurement is what I'm trying to use to tell me when we're done, but it's not working properly. The playtime counter mon, yeah, all right. You don't need to be all caps there, protocol. Yeah, I know you're excited. This is on me for trusting chat. Yeah, indeed. So I think the easiest way to actually do this properly is what? When I press tick custom, playtime jump by around 5 minutes. Yeah, that's because we sped up the paused time. When you speed up pause time, the real playtime in the background is continuing to grow. Because that's measuring... Okay. Hear me out. I believe I understand this properly. I'm sure I'll get comments telling me I don't, which I don't know if I should trust them or not. But I believe I understand it, and there are two types of ticks. There's like a Factorio software tick, and then there's a game tick. When you pause in the editor, the Factorio software ticks are still going. And in fact, I have them sped up by 8x right now. So like my in-game like frame rate is actually 144 a second right now, because Factorio as software is updating 8 times as fast as it normally would. But, and that is incrementing playtime. Playtime is tracking the Factorio software ticks, which means that, is your time in the escape menu? Or does that also pause playtime just as a hard-coded thing? Because you can see there, it just auto-saved even. There is only game ticks. I mean, you know what I mean, Protocol. I'm just throwing words out there. You can call it whatever you want, but I am correct that there are 2 different types of ticks happening here. Because like, there are ticks happening for the Factorio software right now. And similarly, there are not ticks happening for the gameplay. This radar ain't moving, you know what I mean? Like, so like, the game is paused and yet the game isn't paused. There are 2 types of ticks. And I've sped up one type of tick, even though the game ticks are actually paused right now. Because I could also slow down the playtime ticks by doing this, even though the game is still paused. So again, there are 2 types of ticks here, in effect. As far as what you actually want to call them, sure, maybe I'm using the wrong words. The Factorio devs wouldn't like it. But like, in terms of actual user experience, there are 2 types of ticks here. So as far as how we actually run this test properly, the 36,000 should work. It's just not going to end on the playtime that we expect it to, I think. Am I correct? Does that sound right to you guys based on what we've all learned together? We're learning so much. This is fun. We didn't even expect to learn all these things about ticks and pausing. So the 36,000 ticks will work, but the playtime up here is going to give a weird number. It might not be the same every time, and that's fine. Doesn't need to be. We can trust the process. So I have screwed everything up by now, though, which means we're going to have to go back. But I am correct about paused. Like, look, this is 4 FPS. Well, not 4, but, you know, 1/4 of the normal FPS. So, like, the game is basically running at 1/4 of the UPS right now, but game updates are completely paused as well. But playtime is going at 1/4 the normal rate. It's all weird. It's all very weird. I can't put the this playtime mod is unfortunate because it gets in the way of the FPS UPS. And I think I even have a setting that was supposed to fix that, but then I think the mod that removes the bar in the map menu, I think the combination of all those doesn't work out. We can try it. Where's that setting? Is it per player? Probably. Oh, no, I just don't have that setting. Cool. Okay, there we go. Well, at this point, I need to load the game first. Hold on. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. So, right. So we're at 8x paused. So the playtime is just skyrocketing right now, but that's fine. We need to worry about that. We can ignore playtime. Settings. Mod settings. Per player. Stats GUI. Adjust for FPS UPS. Confirm. And then F5. All right. So there you go. Everybody's happy now. So now we can type 36,000 and hit tick custom, I believe. Okay. Boom. Here we go. So this is the first real test. Also, John, you asked a question earlier. Do I care about train utilization, or do I want to use the breakdown and see for a given item how long time was spent in traveling versus loading, etc.? It certainly could be useful. I think train utilization is a good measure in general of train effectiveness, like overall delivery time. Because if a delivery happens 5% faster, then you will be utilizing fewer trains over the course of 10 minutes, and our utilization will go down. So I think this is an acceptable measure to use. Like, imagine if trains completed deliveries 5% faster, and you were at somehow magically, you were at exactly 100% utilization. And then you did an upgrade that made trains somehow, again, magically, they will complete their full delivery exactly 5% faster. Well, in that case, you would be at 95% utilization, or roughly, and it might be a divided by 0.95 situation. But like, you would see about a 5% decrease in utilization. So if our utilization is at 60%, and then we do braking force upgrades, and it goes down to 55%, then that's a huge upgrade, right? That's like a 10% less trains used over time. But I imagine we will see much smaller numbers than that. So I think it's a decent measure. I could be wrong. In F4, you can show it outside of the debug interface. Oh, interesting. That is useful knowledge. So our actual UPS is 180, so this is going to take 3 minutes of actual real time, which is a good amount of time for me to grab some more coffee. So I'll be right back. I'm going to pause the recording though, so you guys in YouTube don't have to wait for that. All right, I've got more coffee. We're partway through the second test here, talking about RNG. And I was posing the question if this 10 minutes of playtime is deterministic or not in a world where you don't have chance-based recipes. And even in the world where we do have chance-based recipes, is it deterministic? If you reload the same save right before a recipe, I think it does save scum. So the RNG is coming from something that changes when you reload a save. So in that sense, the RNG's, you know, and it could be as simple as every time you click on a UI element, it increments the seed. But that doesn't work for multiplayer, so that's not a great example. But there are other things that you could use in multiplayer that increment the seed, even if you were to restart at the same point, so that you can't save scum RNG. Or no, that actually means you can save scum RNG. All right, looks like it's stopped. So we are at 73.9 and 56.2. That's a good sign. We got exactly the same numbers on both of them. Woo! So that's good news. That means I'm not going to run a third test. I highly doubt a third test would yield different results. If it did, it would probably be by a tiny fraction because, again, it would be one recipe that had a percentage chance that, like, didn't make an item when it could have, and that somehow caused one train delivery to happen 5 seconds later. That's the only kind of change we would see here, which would be a very small percentage difference. So now we are ready for test 3 and 4. So we'll load the game. And at this point, we need to force research. So I'm going to need some help with the console commands on that. We need to force research 2 researches. Oh. The game will stay paused if I leave the editor, or no? This could be an issue. I need it to research it for my Nauvis PyBase, not the editor. Shoot. Because this is a different set of researches that I'm looking at here. Crap. Yes, Nick, that is the hypothesis. It's not even a hypothesis, it's a reality. It's just a question of how much is more the question. Like, imagine if braking force went to 10 billion% and trains could stop literally in one tick. Your utilization would go down a little bit. again, I don't even know by how much it would go down if you increased braking force to infinity. It still might not go down by that much, but it will go down. Because they'll, at the very least, even if you ignore all other savings of time, it will arrive at the final destination slightly faster. Because it can stay at full speed until it gets there. And so that alone is like a proof, you know, even if you ignore all other options, which there are other places it will save you time as well. Even if that's the only place it saved you time, that does prove braking force will decrease utilization. Anyway, I don't know. Can anyone help me out? I don't know what to do here. How do I get these researches done for my pi base on Nauvis surface? Do I need to change force? No, I need to change current force to player. There we go. That should do it. Also, I can change to player channel 1. And I could finally move those channel 1 buildings. You know, there's an interesting... This is kind of... I almost need 2 editor modes. Because right now we have the testing lab editor mode. But that's not normally what editor does. If you've ever just done vanilla editor, it pops you into the editor in the same world that you're currently standing in. And I could then switch to player channel 1. So when I switch over to the editor, I could mess with the channel 1 buildings. But then the problem is then I'm not automatically hopping into the testing lab, which is... I don't use it a ton, but I use it a medium amount. It'd be nice if I could have one hotkey to jump into the editor that's in the Pi base to edit the channel 1 stuff, and then a different hotkey to jump into the testing lab to just do testing lab stuff. Anyway, I digress. I think this is what we wanted. So now how do I force research? Anybody got that on lock? I want to do... Gildarth, you don't even need a mod. The editor defaults to being in your main base. This is the editor extensions mod that adds the testing lab. Claude says this should work. Oh boy. Factorio force research. I don't want to manually set the braking force. I want to actually do the researches. I'll find it on the wiki. It's in here somewhere. Well, thought I'd find it easily. Google's becoming increasingly useless to find what I'm actually looking for. I should stop using Google. But even for stuff like this, it's not like I'm getting a bunch of weird like SEO crap and like AI blogs. It's just not pulling up the page that actually has what I want. Here's the console command page, but I'll have to find... See, here's research all technologies. I don't want all technologies. I want a specific technology. I've now found 2 results that give me all technologies. Research specific technology console command Factorio. All right, I'll put in more words. Maybe that'll help. Here's a Reddit post from 4 years ago. All right, there it is. So, oh, I need to actually hit Control V. I don't know how to use editor extensions to do an immediate research. Okay, so it's something like that, and we need braking force 1 and 2. We're just gonna do these 2, which is a bonus of 25%. So this is called... Oh. I thought that bottom one was the name for a second. I was like, wow, that's a heck of a name. Pi devs. No, it's just called braking force 1. Braking force 2. All right. It's been shown that Google's degraded their searches to make you search more. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, I really don't have the Factorio wiki on speed dial, surprisingly. You'd think I would. I don't need it very often, to be honest. I mean, not to... Like, there's so much to know about the game that I don't know, but I do know a lot. You know, like most of the things I'm curious about are more like specific to my particular situation than they are just like stuff that would be on a wiki, if that makes sense. Okay, so I have to go back to this /. Okay, see, blah blah blah. Force technologies. What was it? I already forgot what it was. Oh no, was it breaking force 1? That was it, right? You know, I wonder if this would have worked because it was .player.force anyway. So it probably would have worked even if I was on the wrong editor force. I bet it would have. Okay, so theoretically, yes, we're there. And if I look at trains, that's not what I'm looking at. If I look at bonuses, braking force, boom. All right, so now we save again. And now resume, and now we can go to tick 3600. And now we wait. Oh boy. What do you guys think? Is it actually gonna be better? I mean, surely it's a tiny bit better. It'd be hilarious if it was the same numbers again. I can't see how it would be though. Because the utilization isn't at 100%, which is important for the test. Because if it was, it's possible that even with improved trains, there still isn't enough. But like this means that we've got enough trains, which means they should resume being idle sooner. So like, I think this is gonna be a lower number. It's just a question of how much lower. And we're only doing 10 minutes, which is maybe not a long enough time to get like a great average. Because like I said, these numbers are kind of jumping around in pretty big increments. So maybe we should have done, well, we had to do a second test to see if it gave us the same numbers. And then from there, we probably should have done a third test where we played the game for a couple minutes and then just took a second sample. And then we've got 2 different data points and then we can average those percent anyway. I'm getting into statistics here, but I've been doing a lot of stats with games recently. I find that I'm drawn towards wanting to find statistics of the games that I play. I just did a huge Path of Exile 2 project last week, trying to figure out random numbers that the game doesn't tell you through lots of tedious work. All right. 73.9 was our number. We're underneath 73.9 right now. Oh, but it's creeping up. Uh-oh. Oh no. I feel like we're close to when it's gonna stop. Is it possible that it could be higher? If it is, we'll have some explaining to do. I mean, here's the problem. Oh, it actually is. I just thought of something. Because, like, in this world, our trains are completing deliveries sooner. Which means... Is this actually a good test? I just realized this test might be flawed. So the reason I say that is because the deliveries are getting completed sooner, which is at, yeah, we have very different numbers, 62%. But I don't think that's because our trains are, God, what would that be, 15% faster on deliveries? I don't think that's true. I might need a single item test, Nick, and I might need to measure actual single deliveries and compare them. Because exactly, preschool. I hadn't gotten the words out of my mouth yet because I am complete ADHD right now. But yeah, basically it changes the whole scope of the next 10 minutes. If the first train gets to its delivery done a little bit sooner, well, now that maybe generates a whole new request or delivery sooner than that, which then changes the next thing. And like there's a, I guess you could call that the butterfly effect. That is an accurate use of the butterfly effect. And so things could be very different by the time you get 10 minutes down the road. They're probably not very different, but they are different. And when we're looking at such a chunky like scale, even just a little bit different could entirely change this number by like 5%. So I don't think this is a great test because it's too chunky for things to average out perfectly in a short scope of 10 minutes. If we measured the base over like 10 hours, I would trust that to all cancel out in the long run. But in just a 10-minute test, I don't really think we can trust this because of what we just said. So we need to figure out a new test that's probably going to be more on the breakdown level. What item gets delivered the most often? Whoa, did not mean to do that. What item gets delivered the most often? I feel like moss is pretty high up there. But it only got delivered twice even in 10 minutes. Whoa. Why did it just appear and disappear and then disappear and appear again? That's weird. Yeah, maybe we just compare two specific deliveries. Maybe that's the way to do it. Oh, that's just so beautiful. Can I just say, I mean, this is just beautiful. Oh, it's so good. Which color is which? Oh yeah, Nick, I think someone already requested this. I think I saw them ask you for it. Like being able to see, like, I don't know which color this is, and they're especially for someone that struggles with colors, this is a little rough. Like, it'd be nice if you highlighted that for it to tell you which one you're looking at. Oh, it does say travel to P. Someone was asking for something in that category, though. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was when you highlight this, it like highlights the... No, what was it? Maybe it was averaging all of them? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, let's do something like this. What is that? Oh, that's weird. I wonder if that's a CyberSyn like multi-loader issue. What causes this to think a train is train capacity insufficient? I don't actually know what that means. Nick, I would request that this is a more clear, like train capacity, like as in the wagon cannot hold enough, but hold enough for what? Like, what does that actually mean? Like, I'm not really sure what exactly that's saying. Is that like a request is bigger than any train that I have could handle? Is that the train that was there can't hold the number of items it asked for? Is that like I know something's bad, but I don't think there's actually any specificity on like what is wrong here. I'm sure if it happened a bunch of times, you could like look at what was happening and then kind of connect the dots. But just from this alone, I don't really know what that means. And I guess you don't either. It's a CyberSyn phrasing. Anyway, so what test are we going to do here? So let's look at moss over... what other items? Throw out some items, y'all. What are some other items I can look at? Because moss is like 2 per 10 minutes. What might be more than that? Maybe hot air? I don't actually know if iron plates are more than that. I don't know how many we go through. none. I've had no iron plate deliveries in the last hour, according to this. Oh, wait, we're paused again. Sorry. Okay, I was like, that doesn't sound right. Not iron plates. How's hot air looking? Still less than moss. Stone's not gonna work because I broke the trashing stations by switching to this fork of Cybersyn. Tin plates is a reasonable thing. We might actually use more tin than iron. Oh, maybe not. Just kidding. Salt. I think I do saline water mostly instead of salt, though. Yeah. Saline water is about the same as moss. Sand might have the same, and I've made a lot of sand on site. Yeah. Okay, so probably moss. Raw coal, stone, coke wood, ash. Oh, wood could be one. Yeah, the problem is a lot of those are trashing based things, which again are broken for me right now because of the, yeah, wood is less than moss. Try ash. Probably also broken though. Yeah. Okay, so let's do moss. So we'll load back to pre-break test 2. And I think we'll just do the same thing, but look at the moss delivery specifically. See, the problem is, this is so rough. What I wanted to do was be able to see all of the items across the whole base. Because the problem with looking at a specific delivery is, what if it's a short delivery? What if this train, like, no, this isn't good either. Dang it, this isn't good either. This is such a bummer. The reason I'm now throwing this out the window is there's too many variables that we are not averaging out by looking at this. There's way too many variables we're not averaging out. There's variables for how close is the source, how close is the destination, how many trains are in the way of the train as it's delivering the moss. And those are going to be different for every delivery, and they're different for different items. You know, iron might have to travel further on average than moss does. And like, I want all of those variables to be combined in the data that I'm getting, which is what utilization gives me. So I think my answer yeah, maybe I do need to do just a much longer test, preschool girl, and like get the mod that lets me queue up more than 6 researches and just like research the rest of Kim Sai and let that run for like an hour. And then do the other one. And then the rest of my base should get buffered up on thing. But see, the problem is I don't have a lot of train traffic. So, Nick, you could always add a checkbox that toggles off unsatisfied things to, whenever there's outliers, it's usually a good option to be able to remove the outliers, both from a visual sense and or sometimes both, sometimes just one of the two, from a averaging out the numbers sense. You know, so if there are outliers there, it could be nice to just ignore those. But yeah, I'm seeing the problem is if I let it run forever, then the train traffic gets way lower over time because now it's only supplying science. I guess I could not use vat brains, which would maybe increase the science demand a little bit. But I still think my base overall, with all the productivity... Uh-oh. Oh, this is for moss. Wait, does the item filter matter for utilization? Because this is not 7. Is this the one where I did the researches or not? Wait, I didn't do the researches on this one, and I have a different number. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh raggy. For the duration of the test, avoid a bunch of expensive stuff. Now that's actually a good call. I could void like one expensive building every 10 seconds, or maybe every like minute. That might be a little too much. Do every 10 seconds. But yeah, that's actually a good call. I could go find some things that combine a lot of ingredients and void some of those constantly. This is getting to be a very involved test. I didn't think it would be this much. I thought this would be a little bit closer to what we want. I'm a little scared by what just happened. This is a different number. I had 73.9 and 56.2. Okay, well, I'm gonna write these down. This could be... because I loaded this one. And this is the one where I just did that. Huh. I'll run it one more time. I'm wondering if there's like a single binary, like whether this train delivers or not. Why would that change it by that large of a percent though? 74% down to 64%. That's a massive difference. Like a difference that shouldn't be possible even. You mean 10% of my trains were running on one of these tests? An average of 10% of my trains were running over the course of 10 minutes. I mean, how many fluid trains do I have though? Not that many, I guess. Oh, that's weird. It doesn't let me see my trains. Oh, this is on the version where I'm on the other force. Wait. Is the mod? Is this measuring a different force? Uh-oh. I didn't think about this. These don't seem to matter for utilization. Uh-oh. Do these not matter for utilization, Nick? So does that mean utilization is combining all surfaces? And all network IDs? Oh. Well, I guess that's fine. It's just, if we have idle trains on the test surface, that's gonna just add some percentage that isn't real to the extra. Like, it might say 70%, but that might actually be 100%. How many trains do I have in the editor? Why is there no map? What the heck is going on here? What happened to my map view of editor? What on earth? Oh, I changed my force, so I don't have it explored. Item filters on util probably doesn't make sense. I think it makes sense if you can make it performant and it doesn't like mess with the mod. You might want to know what percentage of my train network is iron alone using. That could totally, like, is that massively necessary or useful? I would say no. I wouldn't put it as like a #1 priority feature, but it certainly has utility. And if it is addable without bloating the mod or slowing things down, I'd say go for it. Anyway, okay, so that I've really been thrown off here. I wonder if that number is accurate, because now we're paused again. What is going on? Where's the editor? Y'all, I don't know what's going on. The editor had disappeared there when I changed my force or something. Anyway, how many trains do we have? We have 9. Okay. So these are doing some weird changing of my utilization. Okay. So let's go back to here. Let's remove these trains. What is that? Oh, Nixolite wagon. And then... Okay. So let's do that first off. And then... It shouldn't matter what force we are. So we'll just change to player now to get that out of the way. Okay. Once more we shall run the test. Because the last one was even differenter numbers. It wasn't the 73.9. I do wonder if this is a percentage-based thing, but how many recipes are percentage-based? And how many of them is it going to be different enough to actually significantly change train utilization? Not very many, right? Like, oh, and now all the numbers are going to be different because I deleted those editor trains. But like, I mean, how many are actually, because most of the percentage-based things, they average out pretty well. So even if those are different, we're looking at like, you know, a train might leave 5 seconds earlier or 5 seconds later based on variance, which has more of that like butterfly effect going on, I guess, which could explain it. But the actual overall utilization is not going to be that much different in the course of the base running. Yeah, I think the answer could just be a longer test here. Preschool RNG calls are not deterministic. You can reload your save and it will change the rolls. I actually had it happen a couple times with rolling for animals and plants in this season. So that's unfortunately not true. Well, that's some BS. It really is. You can just save scum. Oh, you didn't get an Arcade Queen? Load your save. Maybe you will next time. Yeah, I don't know if the seed is reset on loading a save. From there, it probably is deterministic. I haven't tested like 2 randoms in a row, but I do know one random event is changed on loading a save. But yeah, as for like 2 randoms in a row, I don't know. But then again, if it's a random seed, it's probably, I mean, I guess it's technically possible you could land on the same number, but like if random A happens, that doesn't mean random B will also happen, because random A might have happened because it rolled a 29 out of 30 and the other one rolled a 28 out of 30, and to you those look like the same result, but they're not the same RNG seed. So I have no idea how multiplayer does it. I'm guessing it's like maybe when the server starts up or something, the seed is picked. I don't know. If you, oh, that's actually really useful. Do you know that for sure, Dave? I mean, I believe you because I know you do modding and stuff. That's actually really interesting. Okay, so here we are, results. So results are 64.9 and 62.9. Okay. Now, how does that make sense? It's higher on the, oh no, sorry, that does make sense. The fluid wagons are the same because we didn't remove any fluid wagons. That's fluid on the, or sorry, wait, the fluid is lower? Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Why would the fluid utilization be lower? Didn't I remove one fluid train? I don't know if it was at a depot, so it might not have counted as a CyberSyn train. I don't know how that works either. So I guess the fluid is the same as before, but now the cargo utilization is higher because we deleted some cargo trains from the test surface. Anyway, this is test 1. And now we'll do it again. I think for recording purposes, I'm gonna call it soon. I don't think we're gonna finish this test in this episode, which I know is unfortunate for those of you from YouTube, because you're like, oh, we're being left hanging with a cliffhanger. But I just think this is gonna take a little too long to fit it all in one episode. I could always just pause for the next hour and then, but like, I think I'd rather not do that. So, because I don't actually have the time in real life for that, to record that many episodes, or that long of an episode. So we can hit play on this and see test number 2. You're quite certain as you tested one go. Okay, well, I do believe you then. So that means what for our purposes? That means there shouldn't be any randomness, right? Doesn't that mean we're determined? Well, no. Okay, now I'm confused. When you say at the exact same time, Dave, do you mean game tick time, play time, or PC software time? Because those are, there's at least 3 different times you could be picking from when you say time. And all 3 of those will have different results for our purposes here in this exact test. Because those 3 times are different times for us. Yeah, I'm guessing it's software time. And that's why you get different results when you load a save. Because otherwise you would get the same results when you load a save most of the time, because the inserters are swinging at the same rate in both cases. And so even if you haven't started the recipe yet, it'll still be started on the same game tick in both cases. Software time meaning like, what time does Windows say it is right now? So when I meant like operating system time. But Dave, that doesn't make any sense, because what if you load a save right before the recipe starts? It's still starting on the same tick. But you do get different results. Like if you load a save where you've got all your items buffered and you're rolling Arcad Queens, that is a deterministic amount of time that each recipe takes. The inserters are going to swing the same rate every time. And so that you're going to get the crafts finishing on the same tick. Even if you do 5 crafts in a row, they're all going to finish on the same tick if you reload the save. But you get different results. So something's going on there that's changed. You should get the same result? I'm pretty sure you don't. Maybe I should test it again. I'm pretty sure you don't get the same result. That's an interesting theory. Because now that's conflicting with my understanding. And it's very possible that I could be wrong here. But I thought it was you could load a save and you'd get different results. This test has really grown into large proportions. But yeah, I mean, I do think braking force will help. It's just a question of how much, and are we even going to be able to measure it here? Oh crap, the numbers are different. So we had 64.9 on cargo, and now we have 66. And we had 62.9, and now we have 62.7. So that's test 2. I'll run one more on this episode, and we'll see where it lands. And just to confirm, the game is paused right now. So like, my PyBase isn't running, is it? Opens up production of other stuff. Like, research isn't running. Like, I assume it's not possible for game updates to be paused on editor, but not paused on another surface, right? Can you pause game updates per surface? Because if you can, there's maybe some weird way I could have screwed things up so that things on the PyBase are running. And surely this speed button has overwritten the 0.01 speed that I set it to, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't see all those CyberSyn updates. Yeah. Yeah, that I think overwrote the 0.01 thing. So I think I'm good to just hit this. Okay, well that's really interesting, Dave. I might test that at some point because I was under the opposite theory that if you ran like five rolls in a row for a percentage-based recipe, you know, such that everything's buffered and it'll all happen on the same ticks, and then you loaded a save, you could have different results. But maybe whenever I discovered that things weren't happening on the same tick, you know, it's possible that like, because there was some sort of test I did at some point where I'm like, oh, a different result happened. But I can't guarantee that it all started and ended on the same tick, so I'm not 1,000,000% sure about that. So that's why I'm curious on that one. All right, so for YouTube purposes, I will do, we'll finish this test, and then I'll run one with the braking force, and then we'll probably be done with the YouTube episode at that point. And I will probably, I might resume this at a different date because I want to play some actual pyanodons in this stream, and I don't have a super long time to stream today. I can't do like a 6-hour stream, so. Because I have some IRL things I have to go do. So, what do we got? What do we got? We're hoping for a number around 65-ish, 66-ish for the cargo wagon. Actually, wait a second. This is kind of interesting. The fact that these numbers are different on each test is a good thing, because that means there's some variance. And that means if I run, let's say 10 tests of each, I can get a mean and standard deviation for each. And then that will help me identify the braking force upgrade. I can literally do a straight up hypothesis test on that. So that is kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Science? Math, actually. I mean, math is science, yes, but Specifically, this would be just straight up math. Stats class. Math on real data. I loved my statistics classes. Not one of my professors in college. Did not love her, but the class was fine. She just wasn't. Okay, so crap. In my last two tests, do you guys know which one was on the top? Because now these numbers are so, I don't remember which was the blue and which was the yellow. And you guys can go back on Twitch into the past and tell me which was the top number. I literally just wrote them like, I didn't even label them like a bad sciencer. And the numbers are close enough. I really should have labeled them. And now I'm like, what if because I thought cargo was on top, but maybe it wasn't. So I need someone to zoom in and enhance on the past on the Twitch stream. You got a Mark III wrap 10 minutes later, and then, yeah. Yeah, so Pyonic, there's certainly some sort of RNG call that is changed when you load a save. The question is, what part of it is changing, and what part of it is deterministic? It's even possible there are like weird rounding things that, but again, that wouldn't work in multiplayer. So yeah, I don't know. There's gotta be something RNG somewhere, but I don't know what it is. I don't know which one is which. I'll label this one. Fluid was 60. I can go back and check it later. Fluid was 66.1. Cargo was 65.3. All right, so that was test 3. Can I go back in my own stream? Hold on, I might have to pull up my own stream here for a moment. I can clip it, but that's not quite the same. How do I... Going in. Literally, like, is my internet dead? What the heck's going on here? Tab is not even opening. Okay. Weird. Firefox, you okay? I muted the tab and then it like wouldn't open. That's really weird. Okay, so yeah, I can go back in my stream here. So going back to the last one, it was cargo that was 66, and going back to the one before that, wait, that's too far back. $64.9, I think was cargo. Yeah. Okay. No, 64.9 was fluid. What the heck? I can't read. My brain mixed up the colors and the letters. Fluid was 64.9 in that one as well. Okay, and then in the next one, science is great. It was cargo that was 66. They did switch. Okay, so it was really 62.7 for fluid. 62.7 and then 66.0 for cargo. I should have them in the same place. All right. So yeah, we got some variants here. Let's do one. Wait, did I just say it backwards again? Cargo was 66. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I don't know what's happening. These colors are breaking my brain. Cargo is 66% on the second test. Fluid is 62.7. I've now erased this 3 times. Y'all, I think my brain is having a breakdown. 62.7 fluid is on the top. That's how I'm writing this. Probably part of the issue. Okay, got it. So now we will test the other one. And let me bring up pure ref here. And we can start getting some stats on the screen for you guys. Okay, so load game, high brake test, pre-brake test 2. Now we research the braking force upgrades. I'm so glad are remembered even between loads. So those are done, and now we hit the button. Okay. So that's that. Now we wait on that, and then I can open up pure ref here. And so then we've got, how do I, can I not do text? I thought I could just start writing. Oh, no, there we go. Okay, so we've got 64.9, 62.7, and 66.1 for fluid. And then for cargo, we've got 62.9, 66.0, and 65.3. Okay, so those are reasonable numbers. You're running an experiment now. Legendary quality modules in EM Lab making solar panels. 3 times in a row, you've gotten the first uncommon solar panel on the 10th craft. Now, as much as I appreciate your test, I will say quality is a different test than percentage-based output recipes. And it may use a different form of RNG. Quality has to be very performant, to the point where they might have actually used a different formula for quality. So yeah, your test is valuable, but it's a different test, and it's not necessarily proof of what we're talking about, though 3 times in a row on the 10th craft is pretty convincing that that's going to be the same every time. So in that sense, you might be onto something there with quality. So quality might be deterministic and unsave scummable, but that isn't necessarily true for all types of recipes. Okay, so this was for no braking force. Oh, I don't, this is so weird. Can I not? Why is drag? Okay, I swear I just did that. Oh, once you click out of it, it becomes like a picture. But once you click into it, it's like an actual text box. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I don't know how pure ref works. Blame Galdog. What are we doing? The numbers are the utilization percentages for the train network based on whether we have braking force upgrades or not. And we're running some tests. The sequences are predictable. Interesting. So then, Sviplet, why are we getting different results on this test? Because what RNG is happening? We're running exactly 36,000 game ticks. So like, nothing should be different when we load the save and run 36,000 game ticks. Nothing should change, right? I don't know. Anyway, so that's the no braking force. For with braking force, gotta add some data here. All right, what do we got? Cargo is 63.0. I mean, this is only one piece of data, but seems it's on the low end of the other three I had before. Fluid is 63.7. Okay. Why are these not blue like the other ones were blue? I liked that color actually. Why did you have a cool color and you don't? I never selected a color once. All right, cool. Okay, so I think we're gonna end the YouTube episode there. I know this is a bit inconclusive, but if you guys enjoyed this episode, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm guessing some of you didn't, and you probably skipped this episode, and you won't be hearing me say this, and that's okay, because this was a very weird episode, certainly not our normal speed of things, but still fun stuff, right? This is part of the Zen garden for me, is diving into these kinds of things. So if you guys are here live, don't go anywhere. I'm not done with the stream. We're just stopping the YouTube recording for the episodes that'll get released kind of into normal YouTube. So for those of you watching from future YouTube, as always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.